afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon to you.
Hi, my name is Errecca Flynn Walker. Good evening. Welcome to the Raymond Hall Show, where service is a different conversation. Here with Raymond Hall, host of the Raymond Hall Show. Today's focus, legislative service.
Wow. We're getting there, huh?
We are right on our fingers on the pulse of what's happening right now, this legislative service.
That's right. We have both an in-studio guest and we have a guest that's going to be calling into the studio.
Yes.
And both have to do with legislative.
Absolutely.
Process.
The legislative process, which is vital to our importance.
Yeah. So how you been?
I've been great. I'm enjoying this beautiful weather today.
You are?
Yes. How about you?
I'm doing fine. I sent the engineer a little note that I wanted to hear. It never rains in Southern California.
Right. Tony. Tony.
This was some guy from 1972.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We like, wait a minute. No, we want to hear Tony. It never rains. Well, I cannot sing, but you get the point.
Yeah, okay. So there it is.
There it is. But it is raining. Okay. It's a beautiful day here in Leimert Park, California. You can follow us at Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where we should be live right now.
Right.
On Facebook at the Raymond Hall Show.
Okay.
Also, call in today if you have some questions or any concerns. Call us at 323-293-3375. We'll be waiting for your calls. Mr. Hall, you have anything?
Well, just that I am glad to be here. And I've had some wonderful conversations since the last time we talked on that had to do with the show.
Right.
And people offered some very good advice. Mm-hmm. And I'm so very thankful. I won't put her on blast, but there's one person in particular who gave me some advice, and that's just dear to my heart.
Right. And you're going to use the advice?
Of course I'm going to use the advice.
Okay, very good. Just checking.
Yeah. She's almost as close to my heart as you are.
Almost.
So that should give somebody an indication of who I'm talking about. Okay.
Don't put anybody on blast.
Yeah, I'm not going to put her on blast, but here's what's very important. On my way in, I passed Teslas, big Benzes, big houses, small houses, people going about their way, and seemingly people with no way. And I don't care how you cut it up. Service is at the core of this nation.
Yes, it is.
Service is not a unique thing to America, but America is unique with service. I mean, every community, no matter where you stand, right, at the core is I'm an American. But whether you say I'm an Irish American, a Black American, or an Indian American, or whatever it is, at the core we're all Americans. And every community has given contribution. And when you roll it back, I was looking the other day, and it talked about how women were dying unneedlessly because of what they didn't know was killing them, as far as health,
right.
with women and that kind of thing. And so people were talking about, well, what is service? What are you talking about, the military? Well, the military is just a part of it. You got diplomatic service. You got legislative service.
Yes, you do.
Okay. You got neighborly service. You got spiritual service. Yes. And so we want to reach the masses.
Yes, we do.
But what's vitally important, and I believe it's like my calling, is to speak to the point that service is at the core of everything that we do. See, if I only think about me, that does nothing for you.
Right.
But if I think about you and the work that I put in for you means that not only will you have an opportunity, but the people that come after you will have an opportunity.
Right.
So this legislative process that we have today, vitally important, because through the legislative process, over the course of time, people have passed laws and changed things, made a more equitable place to live.
That we're living by today.
That we're living by today.
Legislative services that the people have rendered.
Yes. So we want to talk to the masses. We want to be in tune with the masses. Everybody talks about the millennial. We really want the millennial. I'm so proud of them children. I don't know what to do, the kids. But we've got to talk about that thing that we think is at the core of the strength. America's might is no question.
Right, we know she's strong.
She's strong. We Putin got out and said, we got this. If you notice, Trump talk about a whole lot of things, but he ain't said nothing about what we got. We got some stuff that's some stuff.
Right.
Okay, so the might is not a question.
No, it's not a question.
But the real strength of the nation is found in the service of her community.
Yes.
Here you are giving service in your community, and that community would be that 54th district.
Yes.
So we are all thankful. Okay. So with that said, what's going on?
What's going on is that we're here today with you. We're here today with Tepring Michelle Piquado.
Perfect. Tepring Michelle Piquado.
Tepring Michelle Piquado, a candidate for the 54th District Assembly.
Right.
She will share why she's running for the 54th District Assembly shortly with you. So get your pens and papers.
Right.
Get to your computer so that if you have any questions for her, she's here. And you can call in at this time and you know, and have this conversation with her. We're so glad to have her here.
We invite you to call in,
yes,
and just because you made the greater listening audience may not be a part of the California 54th Assembly District, you need to know about your Assembly District. And in listening and in interacting with our guests, you may have questions for your Assembly District. Remember, we need to turn the page on some things.
Yes, we do.
And the only way you're going to turn the page on some things is get some new people in there and get them, you know, we
have to do it because the 54th district encompasses, you know, a portion of the west side, reaching almost to the Pacific Ocean, almost.
Right.
The district is ethnically diverse and heavily urban. It's LA County, 4.8%, and there's registered voters of 302,684 people.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh my
Exactly.
goodness, that's a lot of.
I love it. And so on April the 3rd, we're going to have this special election to fill this vacant seat. So this is why we have the candidate here, and we're so excited to bring her, you know, to you so she can give it to you directly from how she feels and what she plans to do for this 54th district.
Okay. And we're excited about her being here now. We invited everyone.
Yes.
We sent out letters. We did everything but the smoke signal. And for some reason, they chose not to. So the proof is in the pudding.
Yes, it is.
If you don't have time to show up to talk about what you would do, well, that tells a whole lot too.
Now take it easy, Mr.
I'm gonna be quiet about it. And just moving along, we want to share something else with you. I read that Queen Latifah's mother passed.
And we want to give condolences to the family of Queen Latifah, and just say that we're there supporting her and praying for her while she's going through this time of bereavement.
Right. You know, what got my attention when they said that she had suffered with this heart.
The congestive heart disease.
Yeah, congestive heart failure. And, I had level 4 stage of congestive heart failure. That was my diagnosis for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, when they put me on that machine to keep me alive, that's what I had.
So that means this person needed a heart in order to stay alive?
Well, she needed it probably, but I won't say because I don't know. I just read what I read. But I know I had level 4 stage of congestive heart failure, and I was told the only thing that would help me was a heart transplant.
Okay.
And it took 6 years to get that transplant. So when I read that she had passed from what I had, and I'm still here, I definitely wanted to reach out and make mention of that. So we are definitely thankful
that you were able to receive your transplant. And that's why the American Heart Association that I was looking up and doing a little research on is a very vital and important place for all of us. Because everyone knows someone that has, something in this area of, with their heart or cardiovascular disabilities.
Right.
So we want to also say to them, we support them in their efforts to support the community, the American Heart Association.
There's so many dynamics to that too. This is definitely a conversation for another day. But I was reading something a couple of weeks ago, and they talked about how 70% of the people who still smoke cigarettes are people of color. And people who are affected by secondhand smoke is mostly people of color.
They don't get it.
Well, I think they were saying that we are being targeted.
Nobody makes you buy the cigarette and put the cigarette in your mouth. Okay?
Well, they do something. They do something to enhance it.
Okay.
They once you get it, we got you. That kind of thing. You hooked.
Well, that's a conversation for another show. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to say, again, thank you for joining us here at the Raymond Hall Show. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we'd like to welcome our first segment guest, Ann Warren, Chair, Legislative Committee of California. Ms. Warren, we need to put our headsets on.
Yes, we do.
Headset.
And Ann, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing so fine, so wonderful. We are ecstatic to have you here on the show with us.
Oh, hey, you don't know how pleased I am
Okay.
to be able to tell you about the work that we do.
All right, and we're very eager to hear that because we've heard a lot from the from various members and people about the CSL. But what's so wonderful is to have the chair of the legislative committee here with us to talk about the CSL.
All right.
So why don't you tell us something? First of all, tell us, what is the CSL? Where does it come from?
CSL stands for California Senior Legislature.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the, back in 1981, one of the legislators, realized that they were not getting any information about the needs of seniors in California. And so he established an organization called California Senior Legislature. It's all volunteers, and it is, we mirror the state legislature in that there are 40 senators and 120 legislators, assembly members who are part of the organization.
Okay.
And I want to emphasize the fact that we're volunteers.
Okay.
So that means, many times we have to pay our own way to do various activities to promote CSL.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we have two parts to the organization. There is a management team called the Joint Rules Committee, and then there is the legislative committee, and we're the ones who go to the legislators with our proposals that we have vetted and say to them, we've identified some needs, we have some great ideas here, some great proposals, and we're asking you to author them. And so this year we've been able to get 6 of our bills authored by legislators, and we're very proud of that.
Wow.
6 bills.
That's incredible. Now, is that the average? Is that above the average?
That's probably about average. Some years I look back at our history, and we had 10 or 12 bills actually signed into legislation. So that means we maybe had more than that, that we were promoting. But this year we had 13 that we had vetted and said, these are our top priority bills. And of those, 6 of them have been picked up and are going to be authored.
Okay.
Very good.
Now, we're sitting here with a candidate for the 54th Assembly District, so hopefully we have, with her successful run, we have a new supporter here for the CSL. Yes, okay. So now, talk to us about the difference between a proposal that goes for the state and a proposal that may be for federal legislation? How does that work?
What we do is, people come up with their ideas of what are the needs of the seniors in California. And some of the needs of the seniors are met by federal funds or federal legislation, and others are met by the state. So what we do is we look at the ones that are presented to us, and we say, okay, these are our top 10 priority state bills, and these are our top 3 or 4 priority federal bills.
Okay.
And we had a state bill last year that passed and was signed into legislation by Governor Bram, and it was to recognize the Chinese railroad workers. Next year will be the 150th year of the commemoration of the Chinese railroad workers.
Wow.
And this year, a woman in New York has picked up that legislation, and she has introduced it in the Congress and asking to make it a postage stamp.
Oh, a postage
That is
stamp.
nice.
Very good.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
So it starts here in California.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, some of it does, but a lot of it does start here in California.
Okay. I was in the earlier years. I was told how California was very instrumental in the oxygen tank that people sometimes have to have on planes.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that legislation, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. I have to be careful to talk about things that I don't fully know because I might be putting my foot in my mouth. But several people told me the same thing, that they were California was instrumental in seeing a more universal, a more even process for that. Okay.
Well, we've identified needs in many different areas. Health areas, safety issues, preserving personal property, personal assets, veterans issues, the LGBT issues. So we've been, we don't just concentrate on just a few things. We kind of, because our members are throughout the state and they see all kinds of needs, they bring in all the various areas that we look at. And we can support.
Now, who can put forth a proposal? Does it come to the CSL members through regular citizens in the state, or is it something that the citizens look at and that the members think about? How does the information get to CSL members?
We encourage citizens to contact us and let us know what the needs are, because obviously 120 people throughout the state cannot identify all the needs.
That's correct.
Right.
Wow.
So anybody who sees a problem that could be resolved through state legislation should contact us and let us know. Now, a lot of people see problems at their local level, and sometimes that's resolved at the local level.
Okay.
Sometimes it has to go to the state, and then there are other times when it has to go to the feds.
Okay. Now, we're going to ask again, but give us some contact. Give the audience some contact information. How would they get a hold to the CSL?
We have a website, www.4csl.org.
Okay.
That's one way. And you can see on that website many of the bills that we have actually gotten passed into legislation, contact information. They also can, we encourage you to donate to us.
Right.
Because, as I said, we're an all-volunteer organization, and the only way that the total group can go to Sacramento to assess the proposals that have been presented is when the transportation and the housing is paid. So what we do is we have to ask for the state, citizens to donate to us through their tax checkoff form.
Right.
We're on there as the California Senior Legislature Advocacy Fund,
Okay.
and line 438.
Line
Okay.
438.
Now that's where they'll
Yeah.
find it this year on the.
Tax.
That's right.
tax
That's
form,
this year
okay.
on the tax form.
Okay.
So if you're doing your taxes online, somewhere down at the bottom of one of the pages, it will ask you a question. Do you want to donate? Well, the answer is yes,
Okay.
because then the page will come up that shows all of the organizations that are on that tax checkoff form.
Okay.
And I would say to you, go down to the bottom of the page to line 438, and we are the California Senior Legislature Advocacy Fund.
Okay. Now, give us some. Share with us some of the proposals that are in front of us this year. Those 6 proposals.
Oh, okay. We have one that is for Medi-Cal clients who are in nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
They get a personal needs allowance every month,
Okay.
and that personal needs allowance is $35. Well, that's to pay for things like if your kids or grandchildren come to visit, you want to buy a birthday card, or you want to take them for ice cream, or something, or hearing aids, batteries, things like that. Well, $35 doesn't go very far.
Not far at all.
Okay.
No.
So,
Oh my goodness.
Where did that number come from?
Where?
and it's been sitting there since 1984.
Well, that makes sense
Time for
now.
this. Since 1984,
Yeah, so,
that was the
so
number.
we're asking that number
Be
be
increased.
to $80.
Okay.
And the reason that we think it should be done is the monies for Medi-Cal comes from the federal government to the state, and the state then, sends it out to the homes where the Medi-Cal people are staying. And so they then give the person $35. Well, the rest of the money that could be given stays with the institution.
Wow.
Doesn't stay with the state. It stays with the nursing home.
It stays with the nursing home.
So
Yes.
they actually receive more money. It's just not given to
them,
the
Right.
individual.
to the individual.
Right. The law says that they can only, they only need to give $35, and that's what they give.
Wow.
And that's been since 1984.
4. Yes.
Okay, so it's
And
overdue for an
this-
update.
This particular bill, our Senator Dodd from up in Solano County has been pushing this bill. He's been authoring this bill for 2 years, and it couldn't get passed. So he said, okay, we're going to try this a different way. So they're going through what they call the budget hearing process.
Okay.
And so it goes to a budget committee, and it's then told to the budget committee. And if the members of the budget committee make a recommendation that this goes into the state budget, then it goes into Governor Brown's budget. It amends Governor Brown's budget and becomes a part of the budget item.
So can people support it
Support this? Oh,
by
yes.
by calling Governor Dodd?
Yes, it's better if they send a letter or an email to
Okay.
Senator Dodd. And let's see, can I give you that information on where to send it?
Sure.
Absolutely.
A little later?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, because I don't have it right in front of me.
Okay. So give us one more example. We've got maybe about 4 or 5 minutes for this segment. So give us maybe one more example of one of the proposals.
For people who have been victims of elder financial abuse,
That's a good one.
what tends to happen is they're, affected by a fraud or a scam of some kind, or somebody actually takes their money, or takes them to the bank and has them withdraw money. So what happens is this person who's the fraudulent person then needs to not be caught with the money. So they wire transfer the money someplace else. And if you've noticed that you can do wire transfers a lot of different places.
You can.
And so banks and financial institutions are mandated by law, if they suspect fraud or financial fraud, they must report it. Wire transfer operators do not have to. So we're asking that wire transfer operators then be trained to recognize financial abuse and to be mandated reporters to make them report the financial abuse to the authorities.
Wow. That's pretty good
That's
legislation.
Very interesting. Yes. How can we follow? Well, so once these 6 proposals, then what's the next step so that the public can follow up to, just keep abreast of what's actually going on? Because it sounds very interesting. I'm sure a lot of people are waiting on bated breath for something like this, because this is very, very vital.
Right. How many people
Yes,
are
Yes.
subject to it, too?
As I said, the website,
Okay.
excuse me, the CSL website will allow you to be updated.
Okay.
You can call the office and ask for an update. And it would be good if a person gave an email address so that the update could be sent, not just one time, but every time there's a change in the legislation.
Okay.
So that's basically the best way.
Okay.
Can you give us the number?
The phone number.
Yes, the phone number, please.
Yes, the office number is 916
Okay.
552 8056.
Okay, very good. So we can call and get an update, and once we give our email address, we can get the continued updates of the progress of each one of the proposals.
Right.
Right, and we have that in a report, in a format, in a report of all the proposals that we are sponsoring and supporting, and we can just send it out to everybody who wants it.
Excellent.
And we can post it.
And we can post it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Ann, we want to thank you so very
so
much for
much.
taking time out of your day to talk with us. I am just so very thankful, because I know you're very, very busy. So to come here on the show, the Raymond Hall Show, and share some time with us, we know that we have been blessed, to say the least.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your
look
service.
forward
No,
to some
I have
updates.
I have been blessed in that I am able to do this for the community.
Well, thank you so very much. Like I said, today's theme is all about the
legislative
legislative service.
Yes.
Okay. So thanks again. Thanks to each and every one that listens to the show and supports it. Make sure that you contact the California Senior Legislature. That's, what is it?
CSL.org, and also call at 916-552-8056, where you can leave your email address and you can be updated on all of the progress of the proposals.
Okay. And make sure that you make a donation. Now, remember,
Absolutely.
Line
number 438.
Yes, Ann talked to us about the expenses of that the CSL incurs in bringing people aboard and for the
Volunteers.
session. Yeah, for that yearly session. But they do some. Go ahead.
Yeah, the annual session, the yearly session, is in October,
Right.
where all of the members come to Sacramento.
Right.
So there is transportation and housing, and it's usually a 2-night or a 3-night stay. So that means there's quite a bit of money
Right.
expended. So it's anywhere from $70,000 to $80,000 to bring everybody to Sacramento so that they can participate in this democratic process.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so very much. This is the Raymond
you so
Hall
much,
Show,
Mr.
where
Raymond.
service is a different conversation. And we want to thank you for that conversation today. We are going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to be with the candidate of the 54th Assembly District. So we're going to continue this conversation on service in the legislative process. And thank you so very much.
We'll be right with
Thank you.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good day.
Have a good
Bye.
day. And we are back. Thank you so very much for tuning in.
Back, everyone.
Boy, that was an informative section.
Yes, you know what? I was so informed in that short period of time. So we're definitely going to do some follow-up with the California Senior Legislature.
And you know what's really, really good?
What's really good?
For you to win this election, and then we got a new assembly person.
Yes.
Working with seniors in Sacramento.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Which is what we need.
You all need to get out on the ground in your community from coast to coast, from Alaska to Hawaii and from New York to Baja. Okay. You need to get out on the ground and make a difference. Service is not complicated.
No, it's not.
It's not complicated. Whatever you have time and talent to do, lend your thing there. There's this book. They call it the Good Book.
The Good Book.
They call it the Good Book.
The Bible?
The Bible.
Okay, tell me.
Okay, and it's a truth book. There are several books around the world, and all of them say the same thing. Right. But it's a man called the Truth Book, and it was something that was interesting.
What was it?
They were talking about this lady that gave this mite.
Okay, tell me more.
The mite is just a penny.
Okay.
And they said that what she did was more than anybody else, because she gave this penny.
Right.
And the penny, what made the difference was the penny was all she had.
That was so she gave the last of what she had. She gave
service, and the reason they called it service is because she didn't look at, let me give you a piece of my penny. You know, that's why somebody that want to get a compliment because I gave somebody $1, well, you just folded 1,000 in your pocket.
Okay.
You kept the $999 and gave somebody the $1.
Right, but you still gave service in the $1.
You still gave service in the $1.
Yes.
But the penny, when you give your all and you give with your time and talent, you give what you have to give. Don't worry about what somebody else have to give. This lady gave her all, and it was just a penny. She wasn't embarrassed to give the penny. So if your service is just to open the door, don't be embarrassed to open the door. Don't think twice to open the door. Somebody going to talk about me if I open the door. Open the door. Right. That's the service of you.
Or just a smile with a passing person that you don't even know, just saying hello and giving them a smile, or even sitting quietly with someone during the time of bereavement.
Yeah.
All the time, it's not about the talking, just your presence and that quiet time during a special time in someone's life. They would appreciate that, and that's an act of service also.
So we definitely have someone here today that's giving their all to give service.
She is. Mr. Tepring.
We got to take a second to pay some bills, though. They're going to run me out on Crenshaw Boulevard. Okay. We have a new sponsor coming to the Raymond Hall Show, Pastor Lonnie McNamee. And we are so very thankful for Pastor McNamee. You've met him.
Yes.
And he's really a nice man. He's a man that's all about service in the community in a myriad of ways. So we want to thank him for
We look
his
forward
support.
to him coming aboard with his sponsorship. What else do we have, Mr. Hall?
And American Legion Post 109.
They're very active as well in the community.
Yeah, with service through service.
Yes.
Them young men are still serving, so we want to.
And they're meeting, Post 109, they're meeting every third Monday. They make a difference with service through service.
Yeah.
So you want to be a part of a post that is active. And, I can actually say they do a lot.
Yeah, they really do a lot. At the last meeting, a young man talked about how he was still in the midst of his recovery. I won't be specific about it, but he was still in the midst of his recovery, and how important it was for him to hear from fellow Legionnaires. Okay, so we want to make it a point to check on someone. So with that said, we're thankful. If you want to support the show, you can chime in by liking us, and what else can they do?
Following us and listening to us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and also iCloud. And we can be found at the Raymond Hall Show on all of those different handles.
Okay. And we are open if your marketing campaign is a campaign where you want to put dollars where I use the word Americanism.
Okay. Oh, that's a new word, huh?
That's a new word. Americanism.
Americanism, yeah, I like it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
Because Americanism has to deal with America needs to tell her story. Nobody's going to tell her story like America tells her own story.
And we each each individual has their own Americanism of a story.
Correct.
Exactly. Okay.
So if your ad dollars, if you have a company and you want your ad dollars to go to a certain place to support a certain message, then if the message that we have here at the Raymond Hall Show is a message that you want your ad dollars to support, please get in touch with us. You have the number at 562. What is our number?
What is it, Mr. Hall?
562 861-3685.
3685. That's it. You heard it right there from Mr. Raymond Hall.
Go to the webpage. It's all over the webpage. I'm not good in asking folks for money, but I'm just saying the more that you support the broadcast, the more that we can do. You got a couple of choices, really, and we're going to get to our guests, but you really do have a couple of choices. Decide what service you want to lend your energy to. You can go down the course that you're going and stand before the judge and say, "Little Billy, he really is a nice guy." Okay. Or you can say, "I'm going to support those people that's running in our community for various offices. I'm going to do those things that support a healthy community, whether it's healthy food, healthy mindsets,
school education,
healthy programming.
Programming.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Constructive program. So I'm going to support that, and I'm going to lend my time and talents, and we're going to see a healthier community through this legislative service.
Right. Or I'm going to continue down the road that I'm going. Okay. Correction instead of education. Okay. So we need to make sure we know what we're doing. Finally, we are here with our featured guest.
Yes, we are.
The candidate for the 54th Assembly District. Yes. I'm going to shut up and let her talk.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Ms. Tepring Michelle Piquado, a candidate for the 54th Assembly District. She will share why she's running for the 54th Assembly District. Welcome to the Raymond Hall Show.
Okay.
Thank you.
We are so happy to have you here.
I am so happy to be here. I want to thank you sincerely for inviting me.
You are quite welcome.
It's my pleasure to be here joining you today.
Okay.
So who am I? I am a first-time candidate, and my name is Dr. Tepring Michelle Piquado.
Okay.
You may never have heard the name Tepring.
Right.
It's from Spock's wife on Star Trek.
Okay, y'all.
Not wife. They were supposed to be married.
I know now that you were Trekkie.
My mom was.
Dr. Trekkie.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So
we grew up with Star Trek.
Yes, we did.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
So that's where my first name comes from, and I like to say I was born to lead with logic and reason.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So my last name is Italian. It's Piquado, and it was Piquadillo. My grandpa was the firstborn in America, and he and his brothers changed it to Piquado.
Okay.
So my dad was Italian, my mom was African American, my husband is Filipino, and so I'm a truly California family.
Right.
Sounds
Americanism.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Sounds like the 54th Assemblywoman.
Yes.
We have a diverse district here.
Yes, we do.
I come from a family where we serve, and so service is really part of my calling. Both of my grandfathers were in the Air Force. My dad was a teacher. My grandma was a preschool teacher. I was a teacher for a period of time too. My path changed just a little bit through education. I went on to get my PhD in neuroscience. But actually going back to the California Senior Legislature, I worked on how older adults with mild to moderate hearing disabilities could memorize information and really how they can improve their quality of life just through a little bit of behavioral changes that we can
give us an
make
example of one.
We can actually spend a little bit more time at the end of each sentence so that people remember more.
Spend a little bit more time.
So pause just a little bit at the end of each sentence.
Wow.
So talk a little slower.
At the end of the
each
sentence. Okay, that's the inside. Now, did you hear that from the doctor? from Dr. Piquado. She's running for the 54th District Assembly. She has insight and logic, and that was something that was great. Pause at the end of each sentence.
So we remember more. Yeah.
And, with her background, everybody would be well served.
Yes, that's what we were speaking of earlier.
Service to others.
Would be well served.
Yeah.
When I first spoke with you, it's three things that really impressed me. The service history, the rich service history in your family. The current service history in your family. And your energy was just filled the room.
Yes, high energy. I love it. And she's a doctor, PhD.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I love it.
She will take the assembly by storm.
She'll be a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
Yes.
Fresh voice.
Fresh voice. Oh, I like that.
Absolutely.
The 54th is so diverse too.
It is.
When I looked at the map of the 54th, it's stretching from what was it, Beverly Hills?
Yeah, Westwood in the north.
Okay. And I think a lot of
Culver City.
Yeah.
View Park.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're truly Californians in this district. We have a diverse set of experiences and backgrounds and histories. And all of those together make us wonderful.
Wow, and the population is 466,445 people within that district.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to the people of the district?
Yes.
Why would it be better to vote for you?
Right.
What would you say?
So one of the reasons I'm running is because we need more women with a science background to be in the legislature, to make good decisions with our tax dollars, to make good decisions that are based on evidence. And that's what I've been having training to do my entire career, is to talk to stakeholders, to talk to residents, and to talk to older adults, and talk to students about the issues that are really of concern for our everyday life. And I'm here to listen. And in the ballot, you will see that I gave my real number, and I get calls every day.
Yes, I called her. She answered the phone.
I did answer the phone.
And that's the part of that fresh voice where we're going to have a politician sitting in the 54th district that we can literally pick up the phone and call her, because that's what we all been looking for as far as our politicians are concerned.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, to have someone that's well suited, you're educated.
Yes.
You're in tune with the community.
Down to earth.
And you can speak to the various demographics of the community. I don't know how far we can go on the show and stay non-political. So I won't be political. But what did the man say? I'm just saying.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I can say that I don't come from a political family. I've never been elected office before. And that's one of the things that I think is an asset, actually, is coming in from a perspective of public service at my heart, and having a background in actually enacting public policies. So I was actually a science fellow at the Sacramento State Capitol, where I was placed in Senate Human Services. I also served on one of the governor's boards that addressed the child welfare situation in the Latino population. So
Sacramento the capital is nothing new to you.
Nothing new. And I was raised in Sacramento too.
Oh, wow. That's your
that's my home.
That's your home.
Okay.
Very good. So you fit right in.
Yeah. I am just absolutely elated. I really am. A lot of times we hear the talking points.
Right.
But to really meet someone that's going to go far, I imagine in 8 years we'll be talking about you for president.
Yes.
Might have to fumigate the. Oh.
Now, Mr. Hall.
Now. Okay. All right. But.
So that was a little.
I think also, let me be clear that getting to having the honor to be an assemblywoman for our district is the starting point.
Okay, that's the starting point.
So that's the starting point. And enacting laws and working back at home in our district to help people on a day-to-day basis is the movement. This is a campaign.
Right.
That is
the movement.
Is the movement.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I find myself because I am a member of the CSL, and I find it gratifying to be able to go and help put forth proposals that may turn to legislation, and then to be able to come back home. Or while I am at home, when it actually becomes legislation,
right.
becomes law,
and really
and you
makes
can use it.
improvement in the lives of individuals.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we are just absolutely elated. Now, if you had some things you say, I wanted to go to Sacramento to do this, what would be say the one and two things that you would want to address?
Yeah, one is I want to provide opportunities, real programs that help our kids of color succeed.
Okay.
And so while my choices have been through education and higher education, that's not a desire for everyone. So I want everyone to have opportunities for a good job, for a great family life, however they see that vision of greatness. So improving public education.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is
Number-
particularly
right,
for
particularly.
our kids of color is number one.
Yeah.
And improving on our trust and community building with law enforcement is number two.
Okay.
That's very
We have a need for public safety.
Yes.
we do.
And that spans regardless of age or gender or racial demographics, and we need to rebuild trust
Right.
and focus on that. And so I'm particularly well positioned to do that, as my husband is a law enforcement officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so he is in service to others as a minority officer, and I've been engaged in law enforcement and reentry programs and mentorship programs with our public safety in mind.
Okay.
Well, we want to both commend the entire family, because you have service foundation in your family, and you all are continuing to serve. Now, we have a real treat for you. Not only is she running for the 54th, but in our continuing segment of financial literacy,
Yes.
she is joining Mrs. Errecca Flynn Walker. So we've got three things going on here. This is the month of the women.
Yes.
the
International Women's
International
Month.
Women's Month.
And then it's Women's Month as well.
Okay.
And
And we have the candidate running for the 54th.
And she's a woman.
And she's a woman. And you've been doing the literacy
Financial
for the
literacy,
month.
yes.
So now you all are joining forces.
yes, to talk
about
the importance
Yes.
of financial literacy. So let me give the floor to Tepring and let her give us a little insight on her take.
Yeah, so I've been traveling around our country talking about the importance of the basics.
The basics.
Right?
Get back to the basics.
So the basics are we want to spend less than we make.
Right.
Right? No debt, no credit card debt. Every month, spend less than you make.
Right.
Okay.
And it seems like a simple concept, but it's really hard for us to do,
It
especially
is.
in this society where we sort of want to go out to the right restaurant. We want to wear that new clothes. And so just thinking about every week or month or every 2 weeks where you get your paycheck, you have to spend less than you make. And I go around telling students that, and so
How do they receive that?
How do you do that?
Yeah,
First of all, you have to know how much money you make.
exactly.
You have to know what your budget is. Once you know what your budget is, in my opinion, you take a portion out and pay yourself
Yep.
from that budget.
Yep.
And then
Set it aside.
set it aside. And remember, we talked about that, and Tepring is right on point with that. But I mean, when you're speaking to the millennials here,
Yeah, millennials.
those are the ones we want to talk to.
Right. We've heard that they don't even save for retirement because they don't know they don't think it's going to be there. It's not
Right.
gonna be
So
needed.
how can we make
Right.
some type of effort to get them to get on board with us in this financial literacy this
Program.
program that we're
Yeah.
working on?
So I think that it starts with the new types of apps that they're using. So I use Mint.
Okay.
It aggregates
the Mint.
all the things,
Okay.
the credit card. I had student loans. I've gotten all this education through loans and grants and scholarships. And it places it all in one spot. So whether you use Mint or something else.
The apps.
I think there's...
Very good.
Yeah.
And that's an app, Mint?
The Mint.
Okay, the Mint.
MINT.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The
It's
Mint.
an app.
Okay.
That's an app. And so that
Keep
app...
track of things.
That app helps you.
Just be aware.
And you hear that? The Dr. Piquado is giving us some vital information that is not all that complicated. Everyone has their phone.
Yep.
You can go to it. You can download this app, which is the Mint, and then you can use that to correlate all of your bills and everything. And
Just
from
know
there,
every day what you're spending.
every
Right.
single day.
Well, we're going to have you back for a number of reasons.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Number one, we're going to have her back when she wins.
Yeah.
This is a beginning of a beautiful partnership.
Yes, it is.
So,
Yes.
definitely.
And the special election is April the 3rd.
Yes.
So there will not be another show, the Raymond Hall Show, before the special election. So put it on your calendar, lock it into your phones. I can't say who to vote for, but Way, who has taken the time to come and ask you for your support.
Right.
Okay. So lock it in, April the 3rd. We're going to be, it's 5 Thursdays or 5 weeks in this month, so we're not going to be broadcasting next week. So we're going to see what we're going to be doing. The studio is going to be closed. We'll be here, but the studio won't. Maybe we'll be on the curb somewhere broadcasting. I don't know, but
We'll be following up on all of our social media platforms for you to get this inside information regarding this special election that's coming up on April the 3rd, where we would like for you to participate in your legislative service by going out and casting your vote on that day.
Okay, so we're going to post on our webpage the fact that she was here, and we want to say thank you for listening. This hour just went so very fast.
Did.
We've got about 2 minutes left. So we want to thank you for tuning in. We want to, if you like what you heard, tell your friends, have them to like us. You can always go to our page, The Raymond Hall Show, through YouTube and see us streaming. And at 2 o'clock, you can see us live. 30 seconds, Doctor.
Great.
What would you like to say?
Well, I appreciate being here, and I just want to say that now is your responsibility to serve, and part of the civic service is voting.
That's correct.
So it's really important to elect a representative that you see going and doing good service for you. So I thank you for being here. I believe that we need more women with a science background, with a fresh perspective, with the energy to serve us well.
Right.
I'm that person, and I thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. We appreciate it
Miss
again. We want to
Walker.
say thank you for joining us today at the Raymond Hall Show. We look forward to seeing you when we return. And again, it's been a pleasure to sit here today to bring you this vital information, and I look forward to seeing you next time. My name is Errecca Flynn Walker, and I'm here with the Raymond Hall Show, sitting here with Mr. Hall.
We want to thank you for tuning in. The Raymond Hall Show is built on a foundation of service. I'm only here because someone stood and gave service before I got here. God has been good to me. This nation has been good to me. It's been an honor to serve in the active service of the United States Marine Corps. I didn't say I enjoyed every moment of it, but it's been an honor to be a part of that organization. Because it taught me something. It taught me that service is vital to this nation. It taught me that it's someone who wants you to not consider the importance of service. If you don't consider the importance of service, somebody is going to put some service in on you. Their service in on you is going to serve them. Your service in is going to serve others. We're here with the candidate of the 54th District. We thank her. We always thank Mrs. Errecca Flynn Walker.
Thank you.
We thank
Mr.
those who
Tepring,
support
Piquado.
us and who give us their support through prayers. You all be kind to each other with your service. This is the Raymond Hall Show. Have a good evening.
See you next time. Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.